Hey everybody, this is B from the American Red Cross AAPI Resource Group, and today we have a super fun program. Today we are bringing you a live stream cooking demonstration on how to make some Indian curry. I'm so excited to bring this to you. So we brought some different technologies. We're streaming live right now on YouTube. If you're watching this via Zoom, you might be a few seconds behind. So if you want to click the link to the YouTube channel, check your emails. You might be able to participate a little bit more quickly there, but feel free to continue watching us on Zoom. We're going to be here answering all your questions and watching the AAPI team that's live right now at Anjana's house, and we're going to introduce them right now. So go ahead and introduce yourselves on the team right there. So Anjana and team, let's go from right to left. Anna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's session. As B said, we're working through a bunch of different platforms, so thank you for your patience in advance. But my name is Anna. I am part of the AAPI Team Member Resource Group, and I am the DEI Admin Analyst at the Red Cross.
All right, so hold on one second. There's no audio on the screen sharing to the Zoom right now, Anna. So can you double check that might be happening? We're testing out some technical difficulties, so see if you can join on YouTube. Everybody's putting into the chat, no sound, no sound. All right, and you also have to make it full screen if you can, Anna. This is okay. This is why we do things live and fun, because we're trying to make sure that we give you the best possible experience, right? All right, so we're gonna retest screen sharing and make sure the audio is on, and we'll get started in just a second. So for those that are watching us on YouTube, we have 7 people that are watching us live on YouTube right now. And Anjana, talk to us about your channel and your Instagram following. What do you usually post on your channel? We're live on Anjana's channel. Oh no, you're muted, like so somebody on the laptop, somebody hit the mute button on the laptop. So can somebody go to the laptop and hit unmute? There you go. This is fun. All right. Hey everybody that's joining in. We are doing the great norms of fun troubleshooting. We got 21 people that are joining us. Let us know the anticipation. That's right. Sam Johnson is here. She's saying the anticipation. She can't wait to watch the show. She's ready. If you want to type on chat in YouTube, I can also pull your comments into the stream so you're a part of this as well. So let's make sure that we can get everybody added and speaking. Up there we go. We can hear you now. We're back.
I need good 40 minutes. Okay,
all right. All right. We added the phone here, but what we're trying to do is bring you some multiple camera angles. We practice this. I promise. We have 41 people that are watching this right now. So while
can
we
you hear me, B?
I can hear you on the phone right now,
On the
Pani.
phone right now.
You guys sound great. We can just go off of your phone for right now if you want to just go ahead and introduce everybody. But
hey,
yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. There it is. Go ahead, Anjana. Go say hi.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm Anjana Dayal-Pruitt. I'm the director at Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for consultations. Very happy that you're joining us. We also have Amanda. Amanda, why don't you tell us who you are?
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm a student at Liberty University, and I'm interning with the American Red Cross and with Anjana's team.
Hey, Vikas. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Vikas Mahajan with the American Red Cross. Glad to see everybody here. I'm going to be co-hosting with Anjana, helping her walk through some of this cooking and add some color commentary.
Hi, Anna.
Hello, my name is Anna. I am part of the AAPI steering committee, and I'm here also the DEI admin analyst of the Red Cross. And I want to say thank you for joining.
Yeah.
This is our first time using a few different platforms, so we appreciate your patience here.
We have some participation live on YouTube. Look at this. I can pull some comments in. So if you have a YouTube account and want to chat, Sam's here, Megan Dolger's here, Susan Westerfield, Carmela, and Rachel saying, look, Carmela's saying that she can see you on the TV, Anjana. So let's just move forward with this microphone setup that you have here. I think we can hear you perfectly just fine. So we're going to have this be our main camera. And today we're ready to kind of start. So we'll just follow along, Anjana. I'm so excited for you guys to watch what's happening. It's going to be super awesome.
Okay, so we are going to cook chicken today, like we said, chicken curry, Indian chicken curry, North Indian. So we have about 2 pounds of chicken. And when the chicken's being cooked and you're getting bored, we will also try to do peas pulao, which is basmati rice with some peas and some cumin, okay? So for the chicken curry, folks, let me show you the ingredients that you would need. We also send them in the invite, if you remember. But let me show you what we got here. I have about 3 medium-sized onions that I've already chopped because I didn't want my team members to start crying. Also, in terms of fresh produce, I have 3 tomatoes, which I already made a paste, and then about 2 inches of ginger and 1 whole garlic, right? And then for garnishing, we will use some fresh coriander or cilantro, and then half a lemon. We will also put some plain yogurt. You can get it anywhere in any of the grocery stores. And then in terms of whole spices, right? What we're going to do is I'm just going to put few cloves, right? Here you can see in my hand. Few black peppers. I'm not going to count them for you. That's okay, folks. A few bay leaves, just few pieces. As if you know South Asian cooking, we use cardamoms always. Nothing's complete without cardamom. They're put in desserts, but also in major curries.
Can you tell us about that fancy box that you have there, Anjana? That's a fancy looking box there.
That's just Amazon. Just say
What?
spice boxes, and you have various different types.
Megan says that's the spice box of my dreams. I mean, that's a gorgeous spice box if I've ever seen one. So look, everybody's just commenting on your spice box. So.
Oh, and then some cumin, folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a star anise. A star anise, it's called. And then I also am gonna put a couple of big cardamoms. They're called the black cardamom. And that should be it for the whole spices.
Yeah, so Anjan actually has 2 spice boxes. One is for her whole and solid spices. The other one is for the powdered ones. So she actually keeps them all here very conveniently. And this is not uncommon in an Indian household. You're going to have people in the kitchen who cook regularly, and they're going to have their spice boxes ready to go to mix everything up.
Yes. If anybody told you Indians eat a lot of spices, you can see we also have to then store them. So I'm putting about 2.5 spoons, little spoons. You can see the size of the spoon for the 2-pound chicken. Also, we like it spicy, so we will also put that. I put red chili powder. That's not paprika, it's real red chili powder. About 1 spoon of turmeric also, as they call it in America. This is coriander powder. And this is garam masala. Garam masala is basically a powder of a lot of these masalas.
Yeah, and this is important to know, is every Indian household will have their own mix of what they make into their garam masala. And so as you can see, this was what she put together as a common ingredient, and you often can blend these into a powder like that. You can, of course, buy these things readily assembled as well, but it won't quite taste the same. Every house, as we said, has a slightly different mix and variety to it. And in the British, when they came to India, to make it easy, they decided to blend everything together, and they made something called curry powder. And so if you ever have a curry chicken made in, for example, the Caribbean, they commonly don't use these types of ingredients. They use a curry powder that's already pre-made. So there's multiple ways to get around this if this proves to be intimidating. But as I said, you get great flavor by using obviously the whole spices, and you'll see Anjana roasting these a little bit.
Okay, so we can use ghee, Ghee. A lot of you who are familiar with Indian foods, we use ghee. You can also use mustard oil or refined oil. I'm using olive oil today, and we'll just put like two tablespoons of oil, or maybe more, just a little bit more. I usually do not measure, folks, so today I'm really trying my best so that you all have some idea. We will throw in our whole spices, and as they start sort of crackling a little bit, we will then throw in our onion.
So another really important thing with a lot of Indian cookies, you mentioned onions. You're going to have a lot of fragrant flavors. She showed you before things like turmeric and other foods that have a lot of health benefits that are also very common in the Indian cuisines. So we take advantage of this. I mean, I think nowadays it's very popular to buy turmeric tablets, for example. People are taking them. But in Indian cooking, you're going to find these types of spices very commonly used in a lot of our dishes. There's a lot of things that are just fragrant and smelling. She mentioned the cardamom pods. They are what gives you that entrance. When you drink masala chai, for example, if you ever go to Starbucks and have it, that aroma, that wonderful smell often comes from those cardamom pods.
And then we have a comment here from Rachel that says that people measure with their hearts when they cook. Is that kind of what the same type of feel that you have there, measuring, not using formal cups and things?
Which Rachel? Is it my
Rachel Espesandin is here.
Yes, that's my Rachel. Rachel has been in this kitchen many times, and she loves my masala tea, right, Rachel?
Nice. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I'll bring them up for everybody too. So keep going.
Yeah, and if you've never cooked with bay leaf, again, bay leaf, another very fragrant and flavorful kind of an ingredient. You typically don't eat it. You put it in, you cook it, and then you take it out when you're done. But as I mentioned, you're going to see her cooking with that as well. And that, again, adds a lot of wonderful aroma and flavor to the foods. So the cardamom pods, bay leaves, these types of things we put in there. We have a number of powdered spices that she's going to be adding as well. As I mentioned, those have a lot of health benefits. I think the other thing you're going to be seeing shortly are some newer ingredients. And when I may say newer, I mean you're going to see, for example, chilies. You're going to see tomatoes. These ingredients came to India by way of the spice trade. When Columbus came and discovered the New World, right? He took with him ingredients like tomato plants and chili plants and took them over to Spain. And then they grew in popularity and started to get planted elsewhere. And more than likely, the Portuguese, who were already trading in India, likely took the chilies back to India and the tomatoes back to India, and then they became part of the Indian culture, became part of our cuisine. So it's very interesting to see how the world melds together culturally through food, and that spice trade was very important. And I think that's an important note about how the world comes together, right? It's through food. And that's a great example of the new world and the old world coming together through the spice trade.
So like I promised, as we're doing our onion, because what we need to do with it is starting to become more transparent. We need to make it, cook it until it's golden brown before we do anything to it, right? So that you don't get bored, because Vikas told me we can't get too bored. What we're going to do is do some rice. It's called matar pulao, peas and pulao, but it's really rice with some cumin and peas.
So she's heating up oil to cook this in. So you can, of course, just boil and commonly make white rice. But in Indian cooking, again, the rice variety we use is long grain, specifically basmati rice, which you can regularly find nowadays anywhere. I find bags at Costco and in other locations as well. But yeah, basmati is the type of rice we use commonly.
We'll talk about rice in just a second. We're getting some requests in the chat to get some close-ups of the pot and pan. So Pani, get in there. Pani's our camera person. So yeah, we want to see more close-ups of what you're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a nice heavy, the Dutch oven kind of a pan that she's using to cook this in. Definitely retains heat well and will help distribute the heat evenly. Really, really good for this type of cooking.
This is for the rice. She pre-soaked.
Yeah, so Anjana has taken a few quick steps to speed the process along. She's already washed the rice. She just drained it, and she's going to be adding that here soon.
Yeah, and one thing to know that, there are some funny TikToks where they say difference between Asians and Westerners about our rice is that we always wash it. So we wash it, and if you're using basmati, soak them for 20 minutes or so before you start cooking them.
So I want to show folks here really closely. This is a long grain rice, okay? You see how the variety here is pretty long. That's a long grain type of rice. That's basmati rice. That's what we're using to cook.
We're doing a lot here. We're cooking rice. We're cooking all the ingredients at the same time. We have a question in the Zoom chat right now. So there's asking about the pot itself. You said Dutch oven. Is it nonstick or ceramic? Can you explain the properties of the Dutch oven and then the nonstick pot you're using?
This is more like a cast iron
Mm-hmm.
type of a pot. The non I don't know if it's non-sticky also. Maybe
It is non-sticky.
it
Yeah.
is non-sticky.
Dutch ovens
Cast
are
iron.
expensive, but totally worth it. You can grill, you can sear. I use it a lot for like starting stews and pots. So I love my Dutch oven. It's great.
And I'd like you all to see how the color is starting to change, right? It was
Yes.
kind of pink in the beginning, then it became super white and transparent. But now you see some of the onion is sort of picking up the golden brown color look
Oh,
here.
look at the sizzle. It looks so good. Nice camera work, Pani. For those that are watching on Zoom, if you have questions, put them in the Zoom chat, or if you want to join us on YouTube, I can pull your comments onto the screen and look at them live too. But thank you all for joining us, whether you're on Zoom or on YouTube. This is fantastic. All right, back to you guys.
Okay, on the rice side, let's move to the rice side. We have the rice and the little bit of oil. I'm just going to repeat it for you. Little bit of oil, throw the cumin, and then soaked basmati rice and the peas in it. And I'm gonna put like half a spoon maybe of salt in it. Now, some people ask how much water and how much rice, Anjana, right? That's a really good question. So it's if you have 1 cup of rice, just put 2 cups of water in it, and then let it boil until it's boiling aggressively. You let it boil, and then once it's boiling too much, then you just slow it, simmer it, and then put a lid on it.
This
Cover
is
it.
my big thing, Anjana. So for many Asian households that cook rice, and if you cook rice yourself, this is my measuring tool right here. It's my little fingertip. So I don't even measure with the cup. I just put the rice in, wash it, and then once it gets to my first little knuckle, that's the amount. So put into chat if you cook rice a different way. What are ways that you measure your cup of rice? So you did that precisely. 2 cups of water for 1 cup of rice. Is that the basmati formula?
1:2 ratio, and she's preparing now the masala.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what she's got here. Mortar and pestle. You see all these wonderful things. We've got garlic. We've got ginger. We've got the chili peppers, okay, in here. It's all getting mashed down. Yes. Straight from the New World and now into Indian cuisine. So this is how we do it fresh. As I said, you can, of course, buy these things pre-made. Sometimes I use a garlic ginger paste. It's already pre-made. It speeds up the process. But this, of course, is the traditional way of making it.
Yeah, and the other thing is it also depends on the texture you want, right? Like if you're doing it here, then it's going to be not fully paste, but a little bit more textury. For the tomato, I already crushed it to make it very tasty. Thank you, Vikas, for helping me there. If you can simmer it a little bit for the, yeah. I started to do the rice first, folks, and forgot to do this. I need to be ready with this one when by the time the onion is golden brown.
Yeah, Carmela says that's some serious mortar and pestle action, getting some good workouts out there.
Is that Carmela?
Yeah, Carmela Bauman's here. So Tammy Connor saying that she also measures her water for rice using her first digit. And Megan Dolger, regional exec for our Northwest region, says she has a rice cooker full of rice 24/7. Her husband cooks rice at night, every night before bed. That's intense, Megan.
Oh, I love it.
24/7 rice. That's carb heaven for a lot of people out there. So kudos to your household there.
There are other benefits, tangential benefits to using the mortar and pestle. One is if you can get your kids involved, they might enjoy mashing the foods together, which is always good. And of course, it's at the end of the day, the end of the week, it's a good way to get your stress out. You can really mash this stuff up nicely and get it blended. And so now Anjana's bringing.
All right, we got a sous chef in there right now that's helping out there. All right, back to the main action.
Busy kitchen here. All right, let's come on back around to Anjana, who's now working the onions again. We want that beautiful brown color. It passed the golden, slightly brown, okay, but not charred. We don't want it burned, and so she's watching this very carefully. You see the beautiful golden color to it. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, so some of it is still white and some of it is golden. So that's why you need to stir it as often as you can, and you can't just leave it untouched, because then some onion pieces will be more brown or burned and some will be left uncooked. So that's why we stir it, as not very often, but every, like, let's say 2 or 3 minutes, just stir it and spread it. If you go in a little bit funny, try to just spread it across the pot so that every onion is getting heat as much as possible.
In the meantime, if you hop over here, Bonnie, you can take a look at our pot of rice, which is now boiling.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can see all the peas are on top. And these were just, I think, frozen peas you bought. There's nothing special. You can take them, drop them in here, no problem, and they'll cook up beautifully. But obviously, this rice is now starting to absorb this water. It's going to become nice and fluffy, delicious. It just needs to sit and do its thing.
The chat right now, just wanted to bring them up. Crystal Fryer is asking, how do you control the heat of the curry? Are you what temperature are you cooking
That's
the
such
main ingredient?
a good question.
Yeah.
I'm cooking it for medium spicy, very comfortable for regular Indians. Not spicy enough for my son, who's a 24-year-old, very used to my mother's cooking. So it's never hot enough. My cooking's never hot enough for my son. But for my husband, who's from Puerto Rico, this would be very, very spicy.
Nice.
So depending on what you like.
Yeah, I read that wrong. I thought like heat on cooking, but you meant like heat, like spice level heat. Right. Yeah, so that's true. That's a good thing too. So
when she started the pan, she got the oil up to a nice hot temperature to get the onions going. So as soon as it started browning, I came back over here behind the scenes and turned it down to a low temperature so that we didn't overcook the onions, okay? So right now it's on a very low setting as we're getting ready. The rice continues to remain on a medium high as it's boiling and absorbing the water. So you can see it's actually going quite nicely. So she's going to cover it.
Now it's on its own.
Yeah. Dilip says this is amazing. So Willie G saying the peas in the rice, right? So you actually put peas. Like, can you explain what's in the rice beyond just the basmati? You said
this is important to note. One thing we forgot to mention is this is Anjana's father's recipe, and she'll talk more about that here in a second. But here she's adding the ingredients from the mortar and pestle. So you can see.
Can you explain the ingredients in the mortar and pestle one more time? Somebody asked in the Zoom chat that it was chili, ginger, and green chili, right?
Green chili, garlic, and ginger.
All right, got it.
If you want to know the amount, folks, it is about 2 green chilies. It's about 2 inches of ginger if you're joining a little late, and a whole garlic. That's what we got. Okay.
A whole garlic. All right, there you go. And if you check the Zoom registration link for this, I believe you included all the ingredients that you're using for this too. So if you want to go back and follow along, check the invite for this as well. And we can also put that whole recipe in the description of this video if you're watching it back on Anjana's YouTube channel. So make sure you click the like button and subscribe. Do all that YouTube stuff that Anjana is trying to build up a following there.
So now that we've put that ginger, garlic, chili almost paste in here, we'll just stir it for a couple of minutes, and then we'll just add our tomatoes. And right after we put the tomatoes in, we'll put our powder spices in as well. So it's been almost, let's say, about a minute.
What's hard for folks of you watching this to appreciate is just the aromas. You come into an Indian house, you'll often find it to be full of spice and smell and flavor. It's delicious. And now that she's added all those wonderful ingredients, that garlic smell, the ginger, everything, you can smell every bit of this into the aroma in the kitchen. It's really, really wonderful.
There must be some YouTube magic going on, because Andrew says he can smell the aroma from wherever he's at. I think Megan was hoping that at some point in time we'll have the technology so that we can smell what you're cooking. I'm so jealous that we can't be there right now.
Okay, folks, I'm adding the tomato paste now.
Yes, you took tomatoes, pureed them, mixed them up, and just adding that into the stock basically at this point.
And then we're going to put our dry powders.
Okay, here comes some major stars of the show. We've got our turmeric. We've got some wonderful flavors. What else did we put in? We put some chili powder. You put ground cumin or coriander. What was it? Coriander. Yes. Perfect. Yes. So again, you're just adding more and more depth of flavor to this food, to this wonderful dish. That's what makes it so hearty.
And But until garnishing time, the only thing we'll add now is oh no, we will also put some curd, some yogurt, plain yogurt. Okay.
So yeah, tell us a little bit, Anjana, about your father and this recipe and where the background behind it.
So Vikas is being very smart. He's like, okay, she's almost ready. If she gets emotional now, we can afford it because the spices are gone and everything is good. So Papa was a great cook. And whatever he did was very special. And so this chicken curry recipe comes from him. As a young kid, my task used to be to chop the onion super fine. I don't think I did that good job today, but that was my contribution to his recipe. And then we would just watch him. And in my culture, they say somebody said you measure with heart. Rachel said it, I think, right? And so in my culture, they also say something similar, that it's the touch of the hand that really brings the taste, not the spices. And so Papa's touch was really special. And now my son often says, if you're going to make chicken, are you going to make Jerry's recipe? And it's like, yes. Yeah, so
my famous recipe. All right.
B.
Yeah, I was just saying that sounds really great. There was a beeping noise. I didn't know something was going to explode or something was burning. So
no, the gimbal is making really weird.
All right, you're good.
That's not going down.
No, it is battery is full. Now I'm manually handling it and like a statue standing.
You gotta love the live TV, but this is fantastic.
So let's look at the rice.
Come look at this rice. Beautiful. You see, it's absorbed almost all the water. She's checking it. You see how she's pulling it back?
Can you see no water anymore?
No water. Perfect.
So what we're gonna do is just switch it off. Our rice is done, folks. So fast, so easy. And Megan, I also have a baby rice cooker here, but when I'm doing some other stuff mixed with it, then I use the.
Yes, no shame in using the rice cooker. Perfectly good, again, but obviously traditional way, we cook it on the pan.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so come on over, Pani. Let's take a look here. I wanted to show you all, of course, the star of the show is our chicken. Another key part with the chicken is often use dark meat and bone-in and skinless. Okay, so she's removed the skins or bought the skinless. You can, at the store they sell them both ways. But yes, this dish requires the chicken to be skinless, and we often use dark meat over again because it's a very flavorful meat.
Okay. So let's just look at what's going on in the pan. If you notice, the oil's kind of coming out, right? It's separating itself. On the sides, you can see little oil coming in. The water, the moisture is going away, and you can see all the stuff in there, and the oil's coming on the side. Can you see on the sides, folks?
The sides look good, but we still have that beeping noise. If you can kind of fix the beeping. Yeah, maybe just take it off the gimbal and just go straight Pani's arm for the rest of the show. There it is. We're gonna go straight muscle strength. This is we're gonna do our best to keep it nice and steady. We did invest in some technology, but Murphy's Law, all good things, all good plans, good laid to rest, and we're gonna get in there now. So talk to us about what you're mixing. That looks great. Is that the color you're looking for?
Yes, and the more you cook it, it will get a little darker, right? The one thing that I'll say, some people do not like the onion showing up like this. So if you don't like onion pieces, either you chop it super fine or you crush it in the mixer or in the
blender. Yeah, Anjana makes a great point. My daughter, she hates the sight of onions, no matter what. I cannot get her to eat anything that has onions in it. So that's exactly what we do, is what she said, is we blend the onions into a puree and then add it into the dish.
So now that oil's separating, it's got the color that we want. Like B said, we're gonna now just
add chicken, the main star. And so are these, what kind of chicken pieces are these? Are this dark meat chicken, thighs, chicken?
If you put the whole thing, but as I said, oftentimes you'll see dark meat pieces put in as well as liver, but you can use all of it.
I see. Andrew was saying, do you ever cook basmati rice in a rice cooker, or is that just something that you always do over stovetop?
Yes, I have.
Sure, no problem.
Yes.
I wanted to mention again about the color. This is important, right? Different curries will have different colors, okay? And depending on your exact blend or mix of what you put in there, if you end up buying a pre-made curry powder and using it, it may have a slightly different color. This is the traditional kind of color you're going to get with the North Indian style curry chicken. Okay, that bright golden sort of brown, nice, pretty color. You may have a darker color, as she mentioned, if you use other spices.
Yeah. Or if you just made your onions super brown. One of my aunts just makes it super brown, almost close to being burned. And then when she makes those goat curries or chicken curries, they come out really dark. My mommy also used to. If I don't make it super dark, then my son's like, no, it's not like my grandmother. So we got the rice ready. We got this. At this time, what we're doing, folks, is for the chicken to start losing water from itself. So we're not putting any water in there, point to be noted. And I simmered it a little bit. So we have a few minutes to now talk to Pani, because today we chose, because today is also the Republic Day of India, when the Constitution was put together in a very diverse country, known for unity and diversity.
Right.
So Pani, tell us.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the marking that day is basically January 26th, Republic of India, Republic Day, where the Constitution of India took take into effect 1950, and it's a significant national holiday, and everybody celebrates. Everybody celebrates with great patriotism and enthusiasm. That's how it is. The spirits go high. On that day, and the main highlights of this Republic Day is a parade, a grand parade, which takes place in the capital city of India, New Delhi, and this is a parade shows showcases that our cultural diversity, and different states coming and performing performances in different states and tableaus, and that is, and also military competency and technological achievements will be displayed during this parade. And then parade is going to be 5 kilometers long, and it starts and ends in the India Gate, and the main event takes place at Rajpath, and where our President of India hoists the flag, national flag. By the way, we have this term, 15th president is a woman. She's Draupadi Murmu, and she's devoted her life for the benefit of poor people and also underprivileged societies, and she's really keeping up our democratic values.
Regarding the women, a plug for the women of India. We've had our Prime Minister many years ago, when we were little kids. She was called the Iron Lady. Indira Gandhi was our first Prime Minister. This is our second woman president of the country. So we're a little bit ahead of the United States of America.
Great. So yeah, that's the great point you brought it. India respects women, tremendously. There is no doubt. Women goddesses are there. So anyway, we can get into that, and the parade is the main thing. Also the we call fly past or flyover by Indian Air Force. They conduct beautiful flyover during this time. And when I was a kid, I remember Republic Day means that is the day the school distributes sweets, chocolates. So we all eagerly waiting in the sun and wait for the flag hoist. There's some guest going to come, and a guest person is going to flag hoist, and we wait for that, and then have the nice sweets and candies. It's a nice memory, and that patriotism is there in us, in all of us. So that's the day today. So we picked this day. Maybe we can talk about a little bit about Republic Day too, our culture. And one other thing is it's a symbol of unity in diversity. India is. We have around 30 states. Everybody speaks different languages, and they have different customs and traditions. But that's why unity in diversity, and very good at protecting our democratic values.
Thanks. Very well said. Thank you, Pani. And coming back to the food and cooking, I mentioned to you about the spice trade and the importance of that to the world cuisine. This dish, curry chicken, is well known around the world for a number of cultures, and they've all adapted to their own versions. The same idea. It was developed likely in India and Pakistan region of the world, but over time it has moved, and particularly as I mentioned in the Caribbean, I remember going to a Caribbean restaurant and trying the curry chicken. I thought to myself, wow, this tastes a lot very similar to the dish that my dad made when he was making curry chicken. And I realized, well, what happened, of course, is when the British were ruling those parts of the world, including India, when they needed workers and they needed laborers, they ended slavery, and they ended up bringing workers, and they brought those workers from places like India. And those Indians brought their cultural traditions and values and food and taste to the Caribbean. And so sure enough, you find things like curry chicken, you find things like rotis over in the Caribbean, and they have a cultural common ancestry back to India because of this wonderful mix and blend of foods and cuisines. And now I've seen there's curry chicken dishes in Japan, there's curry chicken dishes in China. They all have their own nice varieties and flavors of them, but they all ultimately are rooted back to this traditional recipe.
Yep. Awesome. I have a couple of questions in the chat. So thank you folks for joining in from Zoom. Earl, great job. He's part of the APR resource group, is checking in the Zoom. We have a question from Stephanie who asked, are there recommendations to replace the chicken if you wanted to do a vegetarian type? Like what type of things would you put in to replace chicken? Sweet potatoes, chickpeas, cauliflower? Like what would you put in substitution
a great question. And yes,
that's for me.
Bring the cottage cheese, fresh paneer from Indian store.
Okay.
Chop that and put that in. But you can also put potatoes and peas together. You can put cauliflower and potatoes together.
Yeah. By the way, you get this even in Costco nowadays. You get
okay.
It's written Paneer, paneer.
Paneer, soft cottage cheese. Okay.
Yes.
I don't think I've cooked with that before. So good to know.
Yeah. Just replace the chicken with this cubes of this cut into cubes.
Yeah.
This the block of cheese, very soft, and you can cut into the small cubes, and then add it.
It's firm enough; it will hold its shape when it's cooking. So,
all right. Question from Justin in the Zoom chat as well, asking about if people didn't have a papa that had an amazing recipe, are there any celebrity chefs that you follow in general to help learn things that you follow?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you look up to any other popular chefs? And
there's somebody Indian. I just follow mostly Indian, and then my husband who's Puerto Rican. Between our cuisines, there's not a whole lot of space to cook other food. Sorry if I'm sounding arrogant. I need to learn. I need to learn baking.
Okay, no worries.
Indian chef Ranveer Brar is a very handsome.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna make Anjana the next celebrity chef out there. So stay tuned. You're up to 22 subscribers, by the way. So thank you so much for folks that followed Anjana's channel. She may be doing more of this. You never know. We got a question from Sadana that asked about the rice on the stovetop. What did you just set that to low, but you said it boil aggressively, and then do you switch it to low? Like what was the heat that you turned up the rice and turned it down?
Yes, I will get to the rice in 1 second. Just wanted to share that I put about 3 spoons of plain yogurt in the chicken, just so that it brings a little bit more flavor, right? As if there wasn't enough. We're never happy with enough flavor, I guess, in India, right?
And the important thing here is this is again where you see some variety. Anjana added yogurt, which is commonly used again in the northern side. But if you go to the south, they often use coconut ingredients. Coconut milk, for example, goes very commonly in South Indian dishes. And so you will find curry chicken's recipes with coconut milk used instead. And it's very delicious and flavorful, an entirely different taste experience, but also a very popular way of making this dish.
Yeah. So now coming back to the rice, my friend, what we did again, and when I say again, it's not a passive aggressive. Sometimes people will say again because they're like, oh, I have to repeat it again. No, I'm more than happy to repeat it. So a little bit of oil, then we put some cumin. And then once it started crackling, then we put the soaked basmati rice. It was soaked for about 20 minutes. And then the peas also that they were frozen, but I had put them in the water a little bit ago. And then so normally for the water proportion, my mom always said put 1:2, right? Of 1 cup, then put 2 cups of water. Nice. I follow Papa's style where I don't follow any measurement. Like Rachel said, the measurement with heart. And so what I do is just let the water boil very aggressively, and when it's done, super not like a little bit very hard, and then that's when I slow it down and I cover it and I let it be until the water is gone. And usually, and if I show you, since we're waiting anyway, let me show you. Almost every single time the rice comes out super
Nice.
separate, right? Like there is no.
That looks delicious.
Yeah. And again, basmati rice has a really good aroma.
Good flavor.
Yeah, good aroma.
All right, another question from Amber asking about, are you going to be making roti as well?
Yes, I wish I wanted to, but what I brought yesterday. You want to talk about the rotis?
Sure, and yes, great question. We were thinking about it, but we just ran out of time and room and space and everything else. So these are actually freshly bought rotis she bought from an Indian store here locally. They bake them every day. There's several of these. If you have one in your community, all the better. Hop to your local Indian store, and you may find that they actually make them in the restaurant or in the store themselves and sell them fresh. So it's another convenient short step you can take to get these going. But it's a lot of fun to make if you do make them. Water and whole flour, and you just mix it all together, and you drop it onto a nice what we call a tava, a flat sort of a pan, usually the cast iron, and they make delicious flavors. And then of course you can buy different flavored ones at the store as well. So here's another type of one made out of it's called methi chapati, as you can see. And then of course some people like naans. I like naan bread too. If you ever go to a fancy Indian restaurant, you can get naan breads. Those are delicious. You can get garlic naans and other naans. Naans are different than these. These are flat breads. There's no, when you make these, you don't put any baking powder or ingredients like that in there. Whereas if you use a naan or something like that, those have to be risen, right? They need yeast. They're yeast-based. These are not yeast-based. So those are some of the differences between the breads. But yes, a roti is a very common bread that's used. And in this case, as we said, it's easy to make. But because we're just out of space and room and time, we went ahead and bought the pre-made version.
We're about 42 minutes in. How much longer until the final dish is done, just for folks that are curious?
We're almost done. Look at Anna. She's helping us do getting ready the garnishing. B, to your question, we're almost.
Ooh, garnish. Okay, so maybe about 10 more minutes or so till we get to the final look, just for folks that are waiting patiently to see the finished product.
Yeah. So
we're almost there. Be patient, folks.
And folks, this is cilantro, whole cilantro leaves that she took and is putting in there, and that we're going to use that for a garnish on top to give it some beautiful color.
So we'll do maybe 5 to 7 more minutes of the cooking, but before the program is ended, I know the chicken will be ready, and Vikas will taste and tell us if it's good or not.
So in another sort of varieties you've mentioned. Great things you can do. If you want a more southern style, you could add coconut milk to the dish. Another way to make this, if you take a look at the pot, Anjana's she's relying a lot on the natural juices that are inside the meats and the foods to release the flavor. Okay, and she also added the tomato puree. If you wanted a more richer sauce, right? If you wanted a more curry, just add water, and that's like when my wife makes it. She'll add a cup of water in there, and then it's almost like a thinner curry, and it tastes great, and it's like almost eating like chicken soup. It's delicious. You can just kind of drink the curry on its own. It's so rich and flavorful because it's got all those wonderful spices blended into it. So again, lots of room for creativity in this dish, lots of room for variety. But this is a wonderful recipe that Anjana's father developed, and I think we're honoring his tradition here today. And I really feel blessed to be able to taste this food.
Let's see.
Look at that. That's the color you want. Beautiful looking.
No water added.
No water added. See, it's just the water from the chicken, the tomato puree, and the yogurt that we added.
Yep.
That's all. Papa used to call it lipatma, which is like, it's just lipatna is kind of like embracing, so that the curry is just embracing the chicken pieces, if that makes sense. We
got some people that are joining. So we got people that are sharing. If you like this video, feel free to share it with friends and family. Rachel shared it with her mom. Lisa Bennett's watching all the way from Vancouver, Washington. That's right. So thank you so much for joining in. Please share. I think people are excited to try this recipe at home. That's looking really, really good. And this is the part where all of us get extremely jealous that we can't be there. It looks gorgeous.
Okay, I'm going to just put it on for maybe 2, 3, 5 minutes. How much more time do you have?
We have 15 minutes more.
We have 15 more minutes. We really have 15 more minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see how it set up the table.
Okay, let's do that. And by the way, because Pani is vegetarian, we also have something really special from India, that is rajma. This is the beans that you all eat
Red kidney
here,
beans.
red kidney beans, but this is also very spicy. I made it last night, and then we also have.
Thank you, Anjana.
You're welcome. And then we also have some
Eggplant.
eggplant. It's dry. I filled it with some spices and then just fried it in some oil. That's all. Very easy, super easy. It's done like in 10 minutes. I did it between my meetings. Don't tell Adrian.
Let's see how our table looks like here. Set up. Beautiful flowers.
Now what we're doing is getting the serving pots and pans ready.
Yes, warm up the food from the floor.
Nice. Nicely set up here.
He's gonna take it so close until they can smell the flowers.
Yes.
And
You can smell the flowers.
not very helpful.
I have no idea this gimbal is making.
Another question we sometimes get is, again, what type of onions to use. And in this case, we're just using good old-fashioned yellow onions, right, or white onions, depending on what you call them. But a lot of Indian cooking also uses these. Are you familiar with what these are?
Shallot.
Shallots, correct. These are very small, potent little onions. They're really great and used commonly in cooking. But in the curry chicken dish, we typically use these onions.
In South India, you use them as it is in the sambar. The sambar is basically soup.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have red onions, pink onions, shallots. Indian households are crazy with the amount of spices and ingredients and the type of spices and ingredients.
Beautiful outside today. 70s. All right. She transferred the rice into this bowl.
We're almost there, folks. They're just doing some final plating. I think maybe in the future, I think people are so enamored by your spice box. Maybe we can do a fun participation thing. Do you want to give away maybe a spice box? Could we? Yeah.
Yeah, and sure.
Maybe our AAPI resource group can sponsor a spice box giveaway, right?
My sweet husband, he brought the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe. There you go.
Hello. There's a family affair. There's Anjana's husband. Thank you so much for coming out. Appreciate you for hosting us.
Thank you.
And a former Red Crosser and a tremendous volunteer. Tremendous. He's served all over the world for the Red Cross.
Eventually we'll making he's going to be a keynote speaker for one of the sessions. We'll talk about it.
Awesome.
He's done in India, given mental health in disaster services. That is very important. So he's a professor in the which university? You were a professor, right, in Penn State University, and so
awesome. Looking forward to that.
Joe.
All right, we have a question from Betty asking about the spices being used. Are all these like specific Indian spices native to India, or there's something, or is this something you can just get from the local market?
Yeah, you can. Most of them, cumin and all, you can. I will come back to spices. I promise I'm not disrespecting your questions. Just wanted to let you know I put the coriander in, and now I'm gonna put a half a lemon. Okay, folks. And I try to put the lemon only after I have switched off my stove because I don't want to cook lemon juice. So I put it towards the end. I'm not putting.
She's put out.
Okay, so we're ready to eat.
What about the sugar? You don't use sugar, right?
Today I don't want to because last time it became. My mic is like, come on.
So you can talk about that, maybe about sugar, because of Vikas, we are not adding the sugar.
She can add whatever she wants. Don't throw my-
We're having a sugar problem right now. It's a controversy. To sugar or not to sugar is the question. All right. So I'm just kidding. Now you're playing it right
Actual
now.
recipe of our dad's recipe. At the end, 1 spoon of sugar is added to the curry.
Oh, it started again. Sorry for the.
Right. No worry. And that was a lemon, not a lime, right? Like, would you use a lemon versus a lime for the bitterness?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we're gonna put a little bit of the garnishing on top. Sorry for all the sound. Okay, could you see it, folks? And then
All right, get a close up in there, Pani. Get a close up in there once she's walking. Don't drop it though. That would be a disaster. I know, right? We're Red Crossers. So all right, carefully, let's get her carefully to the thing. And you have to do one final nice looking plate because we promised everybody what it would look like. If everybody saw the thumbnail for this, we showed you what it's gonna look like. It kind of looks like this. This is what we were going for the last time this was made. We did a practice session and it looks very much the same. So looking forward to that final plate. And then you guys have to dig in and everybody has to tell us how it tastes. I really want everybody to be able to describe every single ingredient they're tasting in their mouth. It's the only way we're going to be able to experience this with you.
Okay. Right. So is it like a Holy Communion where everybody is eating from the same plate?
Yeah, there's the final plate. Get a close up, Pani. Show it. There it is. We're 52 minutes in. Thank you all so much for joining us, whether it's on YouTube, on Zoom. Thank you, Red Crossers and friends, for joining us for this beautiful looking plate. Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. All right, who's going to be the taste tester? Who's doing it? Who gets the honor?
Of course, Vikas.
Oh my goodness.
Vikas? All right, Vikas, sit down. You need to.
I'm a big fan of curry chicken, so that's why they're having me do the taste testing. As I said, my wife makes it one of my favorite all-time dishes, and my father had a wonderful recipe I used to love as well. But as I said, I'm very honored to be trying the.
All right, get in there, Pani. I want to see close-ups.
Yeah, it's a roti, and scooping a piece of the chicken with the roti, and I'm adding a little bit of everything, right? A little bit of our curry, a little bit of our rice. I'm going to take one bite.
Right into his mouth. Let's see it. I want to. All right, describe.
It is wonderful. It the fresh whole spices just add so much depth of flavor. It's hard to describe how that adds to the dish, right? I mean, again, in our fast-paced world, we're all used to pre-made, pre-cut, everything's kind of ready to go. But when you take the time, and more importantly, I think the love, the attention to detail, you can see Anjana has a lot of respect for this dish. She's really put a lot of effort into it, and it comes in the taste of the food. It really does.
How expert she is, and she don't need to measure anything. Just with love, she adds it, and then, I'm going to taste that rajma curry, guys. You can.
Yeah, we gotta make yourself a plate, Anna. I mean, everybody needs to get in there, and you need to give us your opinions on it too. We got about 5 minutes left, and everybody just wants to salivate and taste this with you. So we got to get more people eating this. Anjana, when do you taste your own food? I think I asked you this last time. When do you get to try?
Okay, I will try it.
All right. Has Anjana tasted it at all during this whole process?
Yeah.
Can you ask her?
She doesn't taste the food as she's cooking.
Yeah, Anjana, how do you know if it's good if you don't taste it?
That's the practice. That is the expertness. That's what the expert means.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't need to. She done.
All right. Some people are gonna go to get some Indian, Nepali cuisine just because of this for your inspiration. Support local businesses where you can, or go to Anjana's house. Yes, it's 12345 Red Cross Way. No, I'm just kidding. That looks great too. Oh my goodness, that looks fantastic.
It is so delicious. I wish I could describe everything, but all of all of the spices that Anjana put in before, like they're just blasting with flavor. It's delicious.
So much flavor. So much flavor. That's right.
So, folks, to end this, I guess this is time to end it from Joe and I. You're welcome to our place anytime for Indian or Puerto Rican plate, but for sure for a chicken curry, we would love to host you. So.
All right. Thank you so much, Anjana and Joe, for hosting us. Everybody there, the whole production team. Pani, thank you so much. Anna, Vikas, everybody that's there helping out. We're going to be signing off. Earl, thank you so much for being on the Zoom chat. If you're joining us on Zoom, give us a thank you on the way out. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button and give Anjana a sub or two. It might be fun to see her grow this channel if you want to see more. Wave goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.